What could the future of Casper hold? In my opinion, maybe hypothetically during this bull run, 25 cents, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, even though that's clearly not financial advice. Now, some people may be thinking 25 cents only? 25 cents is currently around a 14x from here. How is that bad? Take into consideration, that is despite Casper having a pretty good recovery, and not to mention, not too long ago, Casper was, having a lot of fun, a lot of people were panic selling, and the price was below 1 cent. So then this doesn't seem that bad in my opinion. And also, especially considering how there's many projects out there, a lot more competition, this doesn't seem that ridiculous to me at least, because considering current circulating supply, at that point, market cap would be around 3.3 billion, or should I say around 3.5 billion for simplicity's sake. But even besides that, that's not too much to ask for, in my opinion. And when it comes to something like Casper, this doesn't feel also like something that is going to be forgotten about, because I get it. It's never had a fully fledged bull run. Throughout the times I've been holding Casper, it's been a little bit tough. I'll give it that, right? I mean, throughout me holding Casper, I saw Pepe have a good run. I saw Bonk have a good run. I saw something like BitTensor, right, do very amazing. I saw many projects do well. And when it comes to Casper, I get it, it's been waiting. But then could this hypothetically be the start of something special? Maybe, because take a look at the way the markets are heading as of right now. And also take a look at the way, how there's a lot more institutional investors, a lot of enterprise adoption. I think maybe hypothetically this time around it could be something special, but only time will tell. And also here's the thing. Some people out there like to ask me, hey man, we're going to cash out when it comes to Casper when we break even, because some people I've seen their average prices around 3 cents or like 2.5 cents or whatever, right? Or some cases like 4 cents. And they say that, oh, you know what? Once we break even, we're out. Now, here's the thing. Many people that I know out there that say this, they've been in Casper for years. So in this make-believe scenario, someone is in Casper for years and then they're leaving once they break even? How does that make sense? Then if that's the case, why not just not be in cryptos anyways? Why not believe in gold or like the S&P 500? You know what I mean? Being in gold at that point would hypothetically have yielded potentially better gains in theory. But the way I take a look at it is that it would make no sense for me to hold for years. Keep in mind, I've been holding since 2021. Would it make sense if I held from that just to leave once I break even? No, that just wouldn't make sense to me. Now, I can't speak on anyone's behalf. I'm not telling anyone to buy Casper. I'm not telling anyone and saying, oh, you cannot sell. I'm not saying that, right? This is just my perspective. But personally for me, it would make no sense for me to leave once I break even. Like, why? That makes zero sense to me, especially if I've been holding that long, and especially if I've been believing in Casper and staking Casper. It doesn't make sense for me to leave like that. And also, there's a lot of anticipation over what Casper 2.0 could bring for the future of Casper, because Casper now, having this new leadership, having this breath of fresh air through Michael Stewart, that's something that I do really like, because I feel like it's heading in the proper direction, at least this time around. No more nonsense about Casper Labs and all this type of stuff. I do like what Casper is doing as of right now, and I think really this is something very positive. Now, when it comes to Casper 2.0, what the average person, at least from the people I've seen, what they really know what Casper 2.0 is all about, what they really know what it really does or how it improves Casper, no. Like I'm saying how probably hypothetically 95% of the individuals who believe in Casper probably wouldn't really care about that in that sense. But I think what they care about is what narrative it brings, right? The hype, the anticipation. And I think within the Casper community, even though Casper, in terms of the community, is by no means the biggest out there, it's actually still, relatively speaking, pretty tight-knit, kind of like, still in its own bubble, so to speak. But even despite that, I've seen a lot of good attention and buzz when it comes to this. So I think especially once Casper does very well, I think as more and more people pay attention to Casper and they see Casper 2.0 and they see those headlines, and they see the news about it, I think that right there is really going to be beneficial to something like Casper. And think about this, right? I want to put some perspective into why around $3.5 billion in terms of market cap isn't even that difficult of a task to really achieve, in my opinion, because let's say during a fully fledged bull run, I'm not saying next week, I'm not saying that, right? I'm just saying during a fully fledged bull run in a make-believe scenario. Imagine if Bitcoin went to the price of around $300,000 and market cap was around $6 trillion, and let's say somewhere along there, Ethereum went to a market cap of around $2 trillion. So that's combined $8 trillion, right? In this make-believe scenario, just from those two projects alone. I'm not talking about XRP, XLM, Solana, BNB. Again, I'm just saying those two projects. So 8 trillion, keep in mind, in a trillion, that's 1,000 billion, and in a billion, that's 1,000 million. So imagine just how massive that figure is, just from those two projects in this make-believe scenario. Now, are we saying out of 8,000 billion, around 3.5 billion can't flow into this during a fully fledged bull run? I'm just saying, I don't think it's even too much to ask for. So when people like to ask me, hey, is 25 cents too much? Hypothetically, I don't think it's too much. And when people say sometimes think that, oh, it's a little bit too low. Well, it depends on the situation. But personally, for me, I don't view it as that bad because anything over 10x, in my opinion, is already a big bonus. So I don't think it's that bad. It's just my perspective. Now it's just a waiting game. That's it. And I've been waiting for quite a while. I totally understand that. Quite frankly, even if I don't acquire any more Casper, I'm totally fine anyways if Casper were to hypothetically go to the price of 25 cents. But the way to take a look at it is that I'm still not going to stop because I made it this far anyways. You know what I mean? I'm just going to stick it out. We'll see what happens. That's the way to take a look at it. But personally, maybe I might not even have to wait that much longer because historically, altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. The last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of last year, so 18 months from then is actually around October this year. Now, is that a surefire date? No, but the way the markets are heading as of right now, that, historical repetition of maybe what could happen, I would say, right? It doesn't seem too far-fetched. And I'm just going to still stay patient because that's it. That's the only thing I can control. Could I control Casper pumping? No. Could I control the price going down? No. So then what could I control, right? Myself. Anytime an income, acquire, hold, and I just wait, that's it. I get it. I've been doing that for years. It's a very long time. But maybe could it hypothetically pay off in a good way, at least emotionally, at least in terms of hypothetically? We'll have to wait and see. But, I waited this long anyways. I'm not going to just give up right now. That makes no sense. Why would I wait that long just to give up right now? If I wanted to do that, I would have done it years ago and just moved into gold or whatever, right? Nah, I'm not going to do that, man. Now, of course, I'm not just only holding Casper, but of course, when it comes to something like Casper, I made it this far to just give up, and I'm still going to believe in this. And with the way the markets are heading as of right now, this is a real no-brainer pick for me. Keep in mind, I think what's so bullish currently is the fact that there's over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, which is more than ever before in history. But at the same time, we have never seen Bitcoin reach the price of $150,000 yet. And we have never seen a fully fledged altcoin season like what we saw back in 2021. We saw many good projects emerge, but we haven't seen that 2021 euphoric moment where it felt like, a bunch of altcoins were doing good. We haven't seen that. So despite all that, we have over 600 million crypto owners. Imagine once, Bitcoin goes to 200,000 or 300,000, let's say. Would the amount of crypto owners stay the same, or would there be 700 million, maybe even over 800 million? I don't see why not. So some of that attention, hypothetically, I think somewhere along there could maybe flow into Casper. And I'm totally aware of the fact that historically Casper has not proven that it has gained massive attention when the market was doing pretty good. It hasn't proven that yet. But isn't that kind of actually something that I would look forward to? Because Casper has never had a true bull run yet. It hasn't had that Algorand type of moment. It hasn't had that Solana type of moment. It hasn't had that moment like Avalanche. It hasn't done that yet. So hypothetically, I'll believe in this and I'll see what happens. But you know what? 25 cents still my price target for this board, and I'm not giving up. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.